Visitors from another planet. The story of how the world first encountered a UFO. Green men, flying saucers in space. June 24th is a day of awareness of the undoubted existence of UFOs around the world. And on this day, 75 years ago, the appearance of a UFO was officially recorded in the world for the first time. In the modern era, the U.S. amateur pilot Kenneth Arnold saw 9 disc-shaped objects in the air that were flying at a speed of about 2,000 kilometers an hour. Shooting stars, a solar eclipse, and a full moon, such phenomena for humanity are already in the order of things, and they don't cause any surprise or shock at all. But unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, have not left alone not only space explorers but also the most ordinary sky watchers for many, many years. There is still no clear answer whether aliens and flying saucers exist. Some people think they do exist, others are sure that they do not, and all this is just another fairy tale that people like to believe in. History of the holiday. The date of June 24th was chosen for the celebration for a reason. It was on this day in 1947 that businessman Kenneth Arnold flew from Chehalis to Yakima over Washington. He took a short detour, and as he learned from a reward for finding USMC transport plane that had crashed near Mount Rainier. And not far from Mount Rainier, he suddenly saw a series of bright flashes of 9 unknown objects at a distance of 20 to 25 miles from him. At first, the pilot thought that these could be reflections in the windows of his aircraft, but while looking closer, he realized that it was not. Reflections came from flying objects. They moved in a line, but very quickly. Arnold thought that this was a new type of jet aircraft. He began to look for a tail, but there was none. And when Arnold landed in Yakima, he told several pilot friends about what he saw, who suggested that he might have seen guided missiles or a new aircraft secretly being developed by the U.S. Army. The next day, journalists were already talking to him. Arnold told them everything in detail, and they believed him. Kenneth Arnold had a reputation as a good pilot and businessman, and besides, he gave a lot of details of his encounter with the unknown. It turned out that Arnold was not the only one who saw a UFO. After the publication of the pilot's story, newspapers began to receive letters from people living in those parts. Raymond Bernier saw 3 objects in the sky similar to those described by Arnold. Ethel Wheelhouse also reported seeing strange discs around the same time as Arnold. And then there was another witness who saw flying saucers over the same mountain as Kenneth about the same time. In early July, in a subsequent interview, Kenneth Arnold first raised the topic of possible extraterrestrial origin of the unknown objects, and he suggested that they could be visitors from another planet, quote unquote. The pilot himself said that he bought a video camera, which he would take on every flight in order to get photographic evidence of what he saw. He said, "If our government knows anything about these devices, people should be informed immediately. A lot of people here are very worried," Arnold said in an interview with the Chicago Times. He said, "Some people think these creatures might be from another planet, but they don't hurt anyone, and I think it would be wrong to shoot them down, shoot one of them, even if it's possible." Now, after some time, the term flying saucer became familiar. It's believed that Arnold's observation led to its appearance. In the future, UFOs were reported more than once. A week later, July 2nd, 1947, the Roswell incident occurred in America, and then in the vicinity of the town of Roswell in the state of New Mexico, a local resident discovered the wreckage of a silver ship. The man was not taken aback, and having loaded the details of an unknown object into the car, he went to the sheriff and told about what he saw. In July 1947, the 3 crew members aboard a United Airlines flight reported seeing several unidentified flying objects. The plane flew from Idaho to Oregon, and during the 12-minute flight, the crew saw several luminous objects that looked like flying saucers. 6 days later, on July 8, many newspapers reported that a flying saucer had been captured near Roswell, but the very next day, a refutation appeared, which said that the discovered object was a weather balloon used as part of the secret module program. Now, the consequences of the events of 1947. After all these events around the world, people began to increasingly observe unidentified flying objects and put forward many different space theories. Scientists began to devote scientific articles and research to this topic, and in the cinema was replenished with interesting movies about space and extraterrestrial aliens. Also, this topic has become one of the main ones in science fiction magazines and television programs, and festivals dedicated to UFOs have become a permanent sightseeing thing in the city of Roswell, New Mexico. And this is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.